chief, a president. I'm wondering what you make of that argument. I mean, do you see it as the job of the president to be a moral leader for the country?
Well, I happen to think it's important for the president to set a good example, and I do. I think that's very important. I think it's that American people need to be able to trust what the president says. I do get concerned, for example, on Friday when the president talks about vetoing an omnibus spending bill that he helped negotiate. I mean, those types of things do concern me, or I do get concerned when he makes statements that are false. In the event, I'll say, the Canadian surplus issue, when in fact the United States runs a surplus with Canada, but he'll say things that are factually not accurate, and I think that's a problem. I do, and I don't know how many in the evangelical community can reconcile, some of their positions at this moment. They seem to be more concerned about someone who embraces their policies on a public level, as opposed to maybe living by a personal code that they would find objectionable.
I mean, it does seem like if the shoe were on the other foot, if, say, President Obama had been facing allegations like this, I wonder if, the evangelical community would have been responding in the same way, or other Republicans would have been responding in the same way.
Oh, no, they'd be waving a bloody shirt. It'd be a human rights violation. Had it been the shoe on the other foot, I mean, there's no question about it. Had this been a Democratic president who had been this conciliatory toward the Russians, for example, I'm sure as Republicans we'd be screaming, from morning to night about such a situation. Or if it had been a Democratic president, Bill Clinton. I mean, let's face it. I wasn't in Congress back then, but a lot of folks were pretty darn alarmed and outraged, and had a strong voice about saying character counts. And now that the shoe's on the other foot, a lot of those same folks are pretty damn silent.
Do you think this has, the president's behavior, whether it's past behavior or current behavior, more generally could impact the midterm elections, or in what way do you think it could impact the midterm elections?
Oh yes, absolutely. This midterm election, in my view, will be a referendum on the president of the United States and his conduct in office. And that's what typically midterm elections are about, the party in power, and specifically the president and his party. And I think that will be the case this election, and all the other issues will be secondary or tertiary to the president. This will be a straight-up referendum on the president and his conduct. So I think these issues will have an impact.
Congressman Dent, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Anderson.
Well, let's bring in the panel. Hopefully they are not remaining silent. Ryan Liz